Kusanagi. The Kusanagi sword is one of the legendary treasures in the Naruto world, owned by Orochimaru. This sword has an incredible history and strength that not everyone can fully comprehend. Orochimaru summons the sword through a unique technique. When he opens his mouth, a large snake appears, and then the snake opens its mouth and spits out the sword. What is interesting about the Kusanagi sword is its ability to change shape quickly and flexibly. During battle, Orochimaru can control the sword with precision, allowing the blade to extend far to attack an opponent from a considerable distance, or even retract and shrink when necessary, providing convenience in any situation. This is particularly useful when Orochimaru faces powerful opponents, because the sword can easily change speed and direction of attack without needing to move too much. Additionally, the Kusanagi sword can also be controlled remotely by Orochimaru. Not only does the sword have the ability to change shape flexibly, but it can also cut through almost any material, including extremely hard substances. When Enma, a character capable of turning into a hard diamond staff, remarked that if he were struck by the Kusanagi sword, he would experience pain for a long time, despite the staff's extremely high hardness. However, the sword is not invincible. When facing Naruto Uzumaki in his four-tailed state, the sword could not pierce through his chakra cloak. This sword can also transform into a small snake and return to Orochimaru. This not only proves the flexibility of the sword, but also shows the bond between the master and the weapon. A powerful sword, right? Well, during his battle with Itachi's Susanoo, Orochimaru also drew the sword to fight, although it's unclear what it could actually do. When Orochimaru was sealed by Itachi Uchiha using the Totsuka Blade, the Kusanagi sword was also sealed along with its master, and we never got to see it again. Perhaps it's now trapped in Itachi's sack bottle. Orochimaru's student, Sasuke, also has a sword. It's also called Kusanagi. However, it's basically just a normal sword. Its strength comes from the user. Sasuke often channels his lightning chakra into the sword's blade. When he does, the blade vibrates at a high frequency, creating powerful vibrations strong enough to cut through the hard materials it comes in contact with. This technique also turns the sword into a highly dangerous tool, capable of paralyzing the target as soon as the blade pierces them. In general, it's similar to how Asuma channels chakra into his knives. We hope you'll continue to hit that subscribe button to help our team grow even more and ensure you receive the latest notifications about our anime explanation videos. Thank you so much. Next, Samehada. When it comes to swords, we have to mention the weapons of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist, and the most prominent among them is Samehada. Samehada is a unique and incredibly special weapon in the Naruto world. What sets Samehada apart from ordinary swords is that it is a sentient weapon, almost like a living creature. This sword can absorb chakra from others, especially when it comes into contact with an opponent's chakra. It is said to be truly happy when nourished with chakra that has a particularly pleasant flavor. Notably, Samehada has a special fondness for Killer Bee's chakra. As someone with an enormous and powerful chakra reserve, Killer Bee's chakra, according to Kasame, tastes like octopus, which Samehada really loves. One of Samehada's standout features is its ability to choose its wielder, making it extremely selective about who can use it. If someone tries to wield it without being chosen, the sword will react by releasing spikes from its handle, forcing the person to let it go. Afterward, Samehada will automatically seek out its chosen wielder, refusing to be used by anyone else, just like a pet. Samehada has a truly unique structure. It is covered in scales, which allow this weapon to injure not by slicing, but by tearing or grinding everything it comes into contact with. To enhance its offensive abilities, Samehada can extend its scales into sharp spikes or even shoot spikes from its handle. Just like other weapons, Samehada can be combined with special techniques, particularly water release. We've seen Kisame use it in this way countless times. While Samehada constantly consumes the user's chakra, its biggest meal comes from battles, where the sword absorbs the chakra of opponents as it cuts through their bodies. This leaves the opponent unable to perform their techniques. This ability is especially effective against Jinchuriki because Samehada can quickly drain their vast chakra reserves. It can even break through their chakra cloaks, as seen when Killer B was forced to drop from version 2 to version 1. Beyond its offensive capabilities, Samehada also offers great benefits to its wielder by transferring the absorbed chakra back to them. By doing this, Samehada can restore the user's chakra and stamina, or even heal severe injuries, making the wielder much harder to defeat in battle. Kisame, as Samehada's wielder, took this even further by fully merging with the sword. This transformation turned him into a shark-like creature with fins and webbed hands, enabling him to move effortlessly in water. In this form, Kisame not only gained Samehada's abilities, like shooting spikes from his body, but he could also absorb chakra from anyone who came into contact with him. He even gained the ability to sense chakra and avoid detection by sensory ninja. Such a crazy sword. Kubikiribōchō. Kubikiribōchō, also known as the decapitating carving knife, is one of the legendary blades of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist. It is also the first weapon to appear among the weapons of the 7 ninja swordsmen. Its fame is tied to Zabuza Momochi, a very powerful warrior from the village of Kirigakure. When Zabuza joined the 7 ninja swordsmen, Kubikiribōchō became a symbol of his strength. After Zabuza betrayed the village, the sword continued to follow him through the battles he fought until his death. Kubikiribōchō is a massive sword with a shape resembling a gigantic meat cleaver. Its blade has 2 distinctive holes, a round one near the tip of the blade and a crescent-shaped one near the hilt. The round hole near the tip helps the sword easily sever the opponent's head. The hole near the hilt allows the user to easily carry the sword using a strap that can wrap around it, making it more convenient to transport the heavy weapon. The most notable feature of Kubikiribōchō is its unique ability to self-heal. Its mechanism works by absorbing iron from the blood of those struck by the sword's blade. When the sword is damaged, it uses the iron from the blood to regenerate and restore its original shape. This process happens almost instantly, allowing the sword to maintain its sharpness and effectiveness in battle. This self-healing ability makes Kubikiribōchō an almost indestructible weapon, as it can quickly recover and continue to unleash its power, no matter how much damage it takes. It is an absolutely bloodthirsty sword. Yeah, it's special, but its strength and durability come with a major drawback: the sword's weight. It is long, heavy, and difficult to use for those without exceptional physical strength. To wield this sword effectively in battle, the user must have outstanding stamina and endurance. Without these, the user will quickly tire and won't be able to maintain combat effectiveness for long with Kubikiribōchō. Fairly speaking, when Zabuza wielded this sword, he looked incredibly cool. Nuibari. The Nuibari sword is one of the legendary swords of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist. This sword is quite special as it doesn't have the shape suited for slashing. It's more like a gigantic needle. The blade is long and thin, and at the base of the sword is a small hole resembling the eye of a needle, through which a thin thread, like sewing thread, is passed and attached to the sword. The special ability of Nuibari is its ability to pierce through multiple targets at once and then pull the thread through them, effectively stitching them together. During the 4th Great Ninja War, this sword was used by Kushimaru, a tall and slender member of the 7 swordsmen. He stabbed the sword through a row of alliance ninjas, threading the cord through each person and then pulling the sword back, creating a chain of connected bodies, resembling a chain of corpses. This created a very painful, horrific, and bloody image, making Nuibari one of the most dangerous and brutal weapons. Shibuki. The Shibuki sword is one of the legendary weapons of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist. Shibuki can be called a blast sword, or explosive sword, due to its unique design with 2 different sides. One side has a narrow, sharp blade running the entire length, while the other side is a wide surface where a scroll containing explosive tags is rolled up and placed. Whenever the sword comes into contact with an opponent, the explosive tags are triggered and detach, causing powerful explosions. After each detonation, Shibuki has the ability to automatically reload new explosive tags from the main scroll, allowing the user to continue attacking without needing to stop and reload. This allows Shibuki to combine melee combat with explosive attacks, creating a perfect blend of close-range and long-range offensive capabilities. Although capable of creating extremely powerful explosions and being a highly dangerous weapon, Shibuki does have some weaknesses. The mechanism that uses the explosive tags relies on accuracy in combat, so if it's not used at the right moment or in the right way, the sword may not reach its full potential. Additionally, the dependence on the scroll containing the explosive tags is a factor that could be exploited by opponents if not carefully protected. However, the overall power of Shibuki still makes it one of the most magical and terrifying weapons in the arsenal of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist. Kiba. Kiba is a pair of taiji swords with long, thin, and straight blades that are incredibly sharp. Each blade has a sharp point curving up near the tip, and another sharp point near the base of the blade. These swords are some of the most finely crafted swords to ever exist. This pair of swords is equipped with the ability to conduct electricity. This ability makes the attacks from the swords powerful and dangerous. The combination of electricity and the blade makes Kiba a sword of thunder. The electric current in Kiba causes the blades to vibrate at a high frequency, similar to electrical chakra techniques, which increases the piercing power and attack ability of the swords many times over, while also paralyzing the enemy. Thus, they can use a minimal amount of chakra while still achieving maximum combat effectiveness. Although the swords are designed to be used together, the user can still fight effectively with just one sword. In fact, the two swords can be connected at the handle to form a larger double sword, increasing flexibility and attack power in battle. With this design, the user can perform many powerful techniques, such as controlling the swords remotely, allowing them to attack the opponent from multiple directions at the same time without needing to hold them directly. In this way, the user can fully unleash the potential of Kiba without being restricted by hand movements. It's a very threatening pair of swords. Kabutowari. Kabutowari, one of the special swords of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist, is unlike any traditional sword. Instead of a single blade, it is a combination of a giant axe and a hammer, connected by a chain. This unique structure makes Kabutowari known as the blunt sword, capable of breaking through any defense. Although the extended chain allows each part of the weapon to be used separately, the true power of Kabutowari comes from the ability to combine both parts. When facing a tough or seemingly impenetrable defense, the user can first use the axe to attack, then strike the flat side of the axe blade with the hammer, creating a powerful force to pierce through obstacles and attack the target behind them. In the anime, Jinin Akabino demonstrated the power of this sword when he used the hammer part to create a strong shockwave by striking the ground. This not only showed Kabutowari's offensive power, but also its ability to cause widespread chaos, making opponents hesitate. Although the axe part is designed for striking and cutting, it can destroy hard objects like stone, which makes Kabutowari an incredibly dangerous weapon in battle. Wow! It has a terrifying destructive power and strong armor-piercing capabilities. However, using it requires the user to have special strength and skills, because controlling such a bulky weapon demands precision and flexibility. This is a weapon that not everyone can master, and only experienced warriors can fully harness the power that Kabutowari offers. Hiramarei. Hiramarei is one of the special swords in the collection of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist, with the unique ability to store chakra, making it a versatile and powerful weapon. One of its special features is the ability to release the stored chakra, and when the command Hiramarei Unleashing is given, chakra is released from holes at the tip of the blade. The chakra quickly covers the entire sword and can be formed into different types of weapons, such as a hammer or a longsword. This shows the potential power of Hiramarei, as the more chakra it stores, the larger and more powerful the weapons created become. In the anime, a typical example of this ability is Kagura Karatachi, who demonstrated that not only can large weapons be created, but chakra can also change the physical shape of Hiramarei, causing the sword to expand several times its original size. This not only increases the user's attacking power, but also provides a significant advantage in battles, as opponents cannot predict the sudden change of the weapon. Another ability of Hiramarei is its ability to create light blue crystal-like fishbone structures. These crystals not only deal significant damage, but also restrict the opponent's movement, creating a disadvantageous situation for the enemy as they become trapped by these structures. This shows Hiramarei's spatial control capabilities, making it an extremely versatile weapon in battle, not only for offense, but also for defense and enemy control. Additionally, another interesting feature of Hiramarei is its ability to separate into two distinct swords, each with its own handle. Overall, Hiramarei is a sword with a lot of potential for combat and strategy. It is a weapon full of surprises, though it's not the most beautiful. Shichiseiken. Shichiseiken is a sword with a unique design, wide and flat in shape, with a brown talisman hanging at the bottom. It is one of the precious tools passed down in the legend of the Sage of Six Paths. This sacred weapon possesses terrifying power and can cast deadly curses. When used, this sword can cut into the soul of words of the target, causing their soul to be pulled into Benehisago, a soul container. To do this, the user must chant the curse incantation, and if successful, the person who is struck will be bound by a terrible curse. If they accidentally or deliberately speak the word they have used the most in their life, they will be drawn into Benehisago and imprisoned forever. This word will be engraved on the Shichiseiken sword. With this immense power, Shichiseiken is revered as one of the most valuable tools of the Sage of Six Paths. However, unlike the other tools of the Sage, Shichiseiken is not easy to use. Each of the 5 precious tools consumes an enormous amount of chakra when used, to the point where a normal user will die after a short period of trying to wield them. During the time it was owned by Kumogakure, only the Gold and Silver brothers, with their massive chakra reserves, could use the tools without suffering deadly consequences. Shichiseiken is not just an ordinary sword, it is a symbol of death and control over souls. Truly, it lives up to its status as a legacy of the Six Paths. Totsuka Blade. The Totsuka Blade is one of the legendary weapons in the Naruto universe, known as a variant of the famous Kusanagi sword. However, unlike a regular sword, the Totsuka Blade is a soul sword attached to a sake jar. The liquid inside the sake jar, when released, transforms into a blade, giving it a strange and unpredictable power. As a sacred sword, it also possesses special abilities. Similar to the Shichiseiken, the Totsuka Blade is linked to a sealing technique, making it an indispensable tool in decisive moments of battle. Itachi used it to seal Orochimaru's part within Sasuke, completely removing his cursed seal of heaven, as well as sealing Nagato's soul during the 4th Ninja War into the sake jar. While the Reaper Death Seal can release souls from the belly of the Death God, it's unknown if this can be done with the sealing technique of the Totsuka Blade. Along with the Yata Mirror, the Totsuka Blade forms the powerful weapon duo that grants Itachi's Susanoo its unbeatable strength. It's no surprise that Orochimaru craved this sacred weapon his entire life. Nunoboko. Well, I still want to mention this special sword, Nunoboko. According to Obito Uchiha, this sword is said to be a sacred treasure, once used by the Sage of Six Paths to create the world. For Obito, this sword is a tool that could easily bring destruction, as long as it's used correctly. However, when this sword fell into Obito's hands, despite its tremendous power, it was not invincible. In a decisive battle, Obito's sword was partially destroyed by Sasuke Uchiha's Susanoo sword, which was enhanced by Senjutsu, Sage Power, and Kurama's Chakra. Well, that's the intersection of energy systems in Naruto. Chakra Blades. The Chakra Blades are quite iconic, being ninja weapons masterfully wielded by Asuma Sarutobi. These special blades are relatively short, shaped like daggers, but their modest appearance belies the incredible power they possess. They are made from a unique metal capable of absorbing and amplifying the user's chakra. I still vividly remember the scene where Asuma demonstrated their power to Naruto. When chakra is infused into the blades, they become significantly sharper, able to cut through tree trunks and crack rocks. It's worth noting that their design is more suited for cutting and slashing rather than stabbing. This allows Asuma to attack from a much greater distance than a typical dagger, greatly enhancing his striking power. However, like any weapon, the chakra blades have their limitations. They are still melee weapons, requiring the user to get close to their opponent to fully utilize their potential. This was a crucial weakness when Asuma faced Haiden, an opponent with immortality who could defeat his enemies from a distance, a hard counter indeed. After Asuma's death, his student Shikamaru Nara inherited these blades. It was fascinating to see how Shikamaru integrated the chakra blades with his shadow imitation shuriken technique. He used them to extend the range of his shadow manipulation abilities, showcasing a brilliant evolution of their use. Triple-bladed scythe. The triple-bladed scythe is an incredibly iconic weapon in Naruto, instantly bringing Haiden to mind, and vice versa. It looks insanely cool with its dangerous and menacing design. 3 blades arranged in descending size from top to bottom, giving it impressive reach. Interestingly, this weapon isn't designed to deliver an instant death to its opponents. Instead, it serves a far more bizarre purpose, collecting the victim's blood. Structurally, the scythe is connected to an extremely sturdy metal cable, strong enough to block attacks from kunai. This cable not only extends the scythe's attack range, but also allows Haiden to manipulate it flexibly in the air. However, to be fair, it's quite a cumbersome weapon. This shows that Haiden isn't particularly known for exceptional speed, although his skill in wielding the weapon is undeniably masterful. As a fanatical follower of the Jashin cult, Haiden was granted the terrifying gift of immortality by the god Jashin, a dangerous power in the hands of someone as deranged as him. In the battle between him and Asuma, with just a small cut and a tiny amount of Asuma's blood, Haiden was able to curse Asuma and perform his deadly ritual. After licking his opponent's blood, he stepped into the Jashin circle, activating a horrifying connection between his body and Asuma's. Every injury Haiden inflicted on himself was transferred directly to Asuma. Although Haiden still felt the pain and both sides suffered, his twisted nature found pleasure in those moments. Haiden relished the pain, enjoying the suffering it brought. Despite the support from Shikamaru and the team, and even though Asuma had a chance to counterattack and decapitate Haiden, it was all in vain. Haiden's immortality, combined with his deadly ritual, led to a devastating defeat for a skilled ninja like Asuma. Indeed, the 3-bladed scythe in Haiden's hands was not just a weapon, but a tool of death, a means to carry out the brutal rituals of the Jashin cult. It perfectly reflected the insane and ruthless nature of its wielder, making it one of the most unique and fearsome weapons in the ninja world. Kusanagi. This is a very powerful legendary sword and the signature weapon of Orochimaru. Orochimaru famously used this sword in his fierce battle against the 3rd Hokage, Hiruzen Sarutobi. During their confrontation, Hiruzen summoned Enma, who transformed into a staff as hard as diamond, clashing fiercely with Orochimaru's Kusanagi. Despite being said to have the ability to cut through almost any material, it seems the sword's limit is diamond, although it still caused Enma pain. We can also confirm that it cannot break through the chakra chains created by members of the Uzumaki clan. In another battle, Orochimaru faced off against Team 7, led by Yamato at the time. During this encounter, he once again summoned this fearsome sword to fight Naruto, who was out of control in his Four-Tails form. The sword was unable to pierce Naruto's protective chakra cloak, proving that the cloak's hardness rivals that of diamond. This moment highlighted the sword's limitations. While it can penetrate most defenses, it is not invincible. But a legendary sword is still a legendary sword. What makes this weapon truly terrifying, beyond its sheer power, is its undeniable flexibility. The sword is summoned in a rather bizarre way. Orochimaru opens his mouth, a snake emerges, and from the snake's throat, the sword is revealed, ready for combat. It can also fly straight out of his mouth, launching itself at targets, as seen when he attacked Sai's ink clone. The blade can change size, growing larger or shrinking as needed, and can even be controlled remotely, following Orochimaru's every command. We see this when he simply flicks his finger, and the sword stabs the third Hokage from behind. It's almost mystical, like a Bluetooth connection. The sword can also transform into a snake to return to Orochimaru. However, the fate of this sword took a different turn when Itachi Uchiha sealed it, along with the part of Orochimaru within Sasuke, using the Totsuka Blade. Although Orochimaru later resurrected, the sword never reappeared, perhaps forever lost in a dreamlike world. Giant folding fan. Now, when you think of Temari, what weapon comes to mind immediately? It's definitely that giant folding fan she always carries. It might look somewhat traditional, but this is far from just a decorative item. It's a formidable weapon in the hands of the ninja from the Sand Village. The fan's main power lies in its ability to create powerful artificial wind, and not just any winds. These gusts are sharp like blades, capable of slicing through even large tree branches. Remember when Sasuke had to take cover behind a tree because he couldn't withstand the force of these winds? That shows just how terrifying it can be. With this fan, Temari can control the battlefield to a significant extent. We saw this during the Chunin exams. Any regular weapons like kunai or shuriken aimed at her were either deflected or completely redirected. Not a single one could touch her. Even more impressive, the fan is a natural counter to genjutsu transmitted through the air. Remember the mission to rescue Sasuke? Tayuya gave Shikamaru a hard time with her flute-based genjutsu, but Temari simply swung her fan once, and the entire genjutsu was blown away. Easy game. The fan's handle probably isn't made of regular wood. It's crafted from sturdy metal, possibly steel, which allows it to double as an effective combat staff. After launching Tenten into the air with a powerful gust of wind, Temari even made sure her opponent fell right onto the fan's handle. Just watching it looks painful. The handle's toughness was further proven when it blocked a kick from Rock Lee, one of the top taijutsu specialists. However, like everything in the ninja world, even the fan has its limits. In the early stages of the series, it was indeed a formidable weapon. But as the story progressed and faced opponents of incredible strength like the Third Raikage, the powerful winds from the fan, no matter how strong, weren't enough to make a difference. Understandable, considering how terrifying the enemy was. Speaking of Temari, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge Tenten, a character who, in my opinion, has great potential but wasn't fully utilized. From the very beginning, when she appeared alongside Team 3 with talented teammates like Rock Lee and Neji Hyuga, Tenten made a strong impression with her expert weaponry skills. I feel like anything she holds in her hands could become a weapon. Her fighting style is deeply rooted in traditional ninja techniques, where she skillfully uses various weapons like kunai and shuriken. However, as the series progressed, and the ninja world became more intense with powerful jutsus and enemies of overwhelming strength, basic techniques like throwing kunai or shuriken seemed to lose their effectiveness. This made Tenten's strengths appear less significant over time, and her screen time in the series was even less than that of the swing in the village. It's truly a shame for Tenten. She could have been developed into a much stronger character, with more unique and creative weapon-based strategies to adapt to the new era. She really got the short end of the stick. Hiraishin kunai. When talking about iconic weapons in Naruto, it's impossible not to mention the Flying Thunder God kunai of Minato Namikaze, the fourth Hokage. This is not just an ordinary ninja kunai, but the key to activating one of the most iconic techniques in the ninja world, Hiraishin no Jutsu. In terms of design, Minato's kunai has 3 blades, with 2 smaller blades symmetrically positioned on either side of the main blade. The handle is thicker than usual, making it heavier than regular kunai. This design allows enough space to carve the formula for the teleportation technique. It's these markings that turn an ordinary ninja knife into a destination point for Konoha's yellow flash, meaning Minato can instantly teleport to the location of the kunai, no matter the distance. In his battle with Obito Uchiha, Minato showed us why he was called the fastest ninja. By combining these kunai with the Flying Thunder God technique, he was able to avoid all of Obito's attacks. Obito, despite his Kamui ability, avoided Minato's kunai, and we saw it pass through his head. However, Minato was able to teleport to the kunai's location and attack Obito from above with a Rasengan. That was a painful strike. Obito could barely touch Minato, but Minato could, and even managed to leave a seal on Obito. He then teleported to Obito's position and took control of the Nine Tails from him. Obito's Sharingan couldn't predict Minato's next move. Puppets. I've talked about puppets in previous videos, but they are truly iconic and deserve a mention in this one. When you think of puppets, the first name that comes to mind is probably Sasori, right? In fact, there are only 3 notable users of puppets in Naruto: Sasori, Chiyo, and Kankuro. Only ninjas from the Sand Village use this type of weapon, but these puppets are so powerful and iconic that they have become a unique fighting style in themselves. Ninja puppets are not just ordinary dolls to be controlled. Every part of their body can be turned into a weapon, giving their users countless ways to use them in battle. Essentially, ninja puppets are a highly flexible long-range weapon. They're not only used for attacking, but also for effective defense. And they even have the ability to control and block an opponent's movements. This makes the art of controlling puppets incredibly frightening in the hands of masters. Though there aren't many puppet users, the puppets they use are incredibly diverse. Let's take a quick look at one: Karasu, the puppet that first appears in the series. Kankuro usually wraps Karasu in cloth and carries it on his back. Even more interesting, he can switch places with the puppet using the substitution jutsu, creating moments to trick his opponents. Another notable puppet is Kurowari, literally meaning black ant. Its overall shape looks like a large barrel, giving it a distinctive and intimidating appearance. Although capable of fighting, it is primarily used for capture. Kankuro used it to trap and restrict the movements of Sasori and Deidara, 2 powerful Akatsuki members who were resurrected by Edo Tensei during the 4th Great Ninja War. Though Kankuro couldn't quite shut down Deidara's loud mouth. Then there's Hiruko, a puppet armor that allows Sasori to hide inside. It is used for defense and can also attack with a scorpion-like puppet tail. We can't forget about the 3rd Kazekage puppet. This is the result of Sasori turning the body of the 3rd Kazekage from the Sand Village into a human puppet. The effort Sasori put into creating this puppet made it one of his most cherished works. This puppet also possesses the unique abilities of the person it was turned into, controlling iron sand. The strongest puppet might be Sasori himself. When controlling it, he places his living self inside the left chest compartment. As a puppet, he can also control 100 other puppets. This army of 100 puppets is said to have wiped out an entire nation. They're similar to clones, but they lack coordination. However, with their overwhelming numbers, they are more durable and harder to defeat than clones. They can wear down any opponent with long-term strategy. We also have the Chikamatsu collection, a priceless legacy created by Monzaemon Chikamatsu, who is considered the father of puppet mastery. Later, this collection was passed down to Chiyo. These puppets were designed to work together to unleash destructive power, far surpassing ordinary puppets. Chiyo used them to fight against Sasori's 100 puppets. We can see them using taijutsu, kenjutsu, and even ninjutsu, and their strength lies in their ability to coordinate. It's possible that each of Chiyo's puppets was even stronger than an average Chunin ninja. Samehada. When talking about Kisame, no one can forget about Samehada, right? The legendary sword that has been his companion for so long. They have been together for so long that their chakras have become in sync, and Kisame can use this connection to hide within Samehada, making it difficult for normal sensor ninjas to detect him. Samehada is not like an ordinary sword. It is covered with a collection of fish scales that point downwards and run along the entire length of the blade. At the end of the handle is a small skull marking its uniqueness. Interestingly, the size of Samehada is not fixed. It grows in proportion to the amount of chakra it absorbs. When it absorbs more chakra, its scales grow longer, and the blade's tip starts to look more like a shark's mouth. Even more fascinating, Samehada is not an inanimate object. It's almost like a living creature with its own sense of perception. Like a gourmet, it particularly enjoys chakras with a special flavor. For example, according to Kisame, Killer Bee's chakra tastes like octopus, which Samehada finds very appealing. On the other hand, it seems to dislike fire-type chakra because it is too hot. With its intense craving for chakra, Samehada also serves as a natural chakra sensor, always drawn to powerful chakra sources. Samehada is very picky when it comes to choosing its master. It has the power to decide who it wants to serve. If someone it doesn't accept tries to use it, spikes will emerge from the sword's handle, forcing them to let go. After that, it will find a way to return to the master it has chosen. However, it did betray its previous owner to follow Killer Bee. Despite this, its bond with Kasam was so deep that it mourned when Kasam died. When it comes to attacking, Samehada does not stab or slice through the enemy like regular swords. With its special scale structure, it causes damage by tearing and grinding down anything it touches. In addition, the sword's handle is extremely flexible and can bend, allowing it to be used as a powerful club in battle. One could say that Samehada is one of the most unique and powerful weapons in the Naruto world. Uchiha Gunbai. Uchiha Gunbai may not appear often, which leads some people to think it's not iconic, but it's actually one of the most powerful and amazing heirlooms in the Naruto world. Like the Sharingan, it's also one of the symbols of the Uchiha clan, and its user is none other than Madara. The gunbai is crafted from the wood of a rare sacred tree, Ryōju, which is typically used to make special ceremonial tools. This shows the high status and importance of this weapon in the Uchiha clan's culture. During the Warring States period, the time when Madara lived, many shinobi are said to have died when facing Madara and his legendary fan. Later, Obito Uchiha also used the gunbai while pretending to be Madara, fooling others into believing he was Madara, before returning it to his ancestor when Madara was summoned during the Fourth Shinobi World War. As for its power, the fan has the ability to absorb and reflect all of an opponent's attacks, turning them into a powerful wind release technique. Because of this, its strength can be compared to the sacred weapon Yata's Mirror of Itachi in some ways. We don't know its exact limits, but we've seen it handle Naruto's mini Biju bomb and easily withstand Guy's powerful taijutsu attacks with his nunchucks. Madara typically uses it as a shield combined with a close combat weapon, while Obito is more flexible, using the chain attached to the fan's handle to control it. He can use it as a close combat weapon, as well as extend its reach. And even though it's made of wood and doesn't have sharp edges like a sword, it's incredibly durable and can smash through rocks and land without any damage. Look at this. This was once where the clan kept their treasured heirloom. Seems like the Uchiha clan really has many to keep. Alright, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.